Resorts and Wellness, we have Mr. Jaideep Dang, Head of Development Southwest Asia, IG Hotels and Resorts as the moderator. And joining him on stage are Mr. Anupam Dasgupta, Senior Vice President Operations, North India, Head Wellness, the Leela Palaces Hotels and Resorts, Mr. Edgar Terutung, Regional Business Director, Asia TUI Hotels and Resorts, Mr. James Mabbutt, Vice President Development, Asia Pacific, Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group, and Mr. Shobhit Khattri, Associate Vice President Development, India, Nepal, and Bangladesh Minor Hotels. Please put your hands together for the panel.
Luxury and wellness. Luxury is we all need to read the definition many times to understand. It's a small word, but it encompasses so many things. I've had the privilege of working with Mr. Oberoi for a few years, and I learned a few things on luxury, which is now a way of life, is part of our conduct. And I think all of you, my partners sitting here, would also agree. I'm going to just read out 5 statements which I've learned over years, and now I apply in everything that we do. As part of IHG, we are building that portfolio in the same essence of luxury in India. So the learnings were, or are, and will ever be, luxury is bought, not sold. Luxury is limited. There's nothing called unlimited luxury. Never say no, but learn to say no. Be polite, but be firm. Because if you have to deliver luxury, you have to be firm. And the last, luxury is timeless. So if you do all of this, you will actually be timeless. So on this note, I will come to each of you, because you're also forebearers of luxury in many ways that you've been doing your products, serving your guests, creating that experience which is timeless. And I will ask you questions not in the order. I know you took your preference sitting with me next and then in the pecking order, but I'll sort of just jumble it up. Shobhit, just in case you thought that I'll come to you last, I will not. Okay, but let me start with James first. James, Mandarin Oriental, what a brand. Very aspirational. This country has been waiting to see a Mandarin Oriental, and I know a lot of people who keep talking about it, but you've not really picked up one. What does it take, Mandarin Oriental, to come in a fabulous country like India, which is very versatile, has seen homegrown luxury, path-breaking luxury, which I'll come to Anupam because he's one of the key stakeholders of that business here in India and for India, an Indian brand. But what does it take for Mandarin to do the first Mandarin Oriental in India?
Thank you for the question. I think your intro on luxury being timeless is probably relevant to why we haven't entered the market yet today. For us, we want to enter with a statement which really positions us as a luxury brand which will stand the test of time in India. And it won't just be one property. It will be a collection of properties across the country where our brand equity, each property should help contribute to a growing brand equity. So we are super cautious, honestly, because we know our first step will define who we become over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So we're almost custodians of this brand. If we do the wrong thing, we can cause irreparable damage, and we do not want to do that. So for us, the last year, I'd say, we've really decided to knuckle down and focus on taking that first step in India. We've recently hired Navjeet Ahwalia, who a number of you know, to support us in that mission. And I hope in 10 years' time we will have a collection of incredible luxury experiences across the country. But we will not rush. I tell you today, we have so many developers come to us for new leads in this city. And while we would love to be able to get that project signed, that project being developed, we have to do everything in our power to make sure we pick the right project and we end up with a hotel which will help define us and position us for the next 40, 50 years. So we will take our time, but when we come, I hope we make a real statement.
So you've been saying no.
We say no 95, 99 probably out of 100 times.
All right. Anupam, luxury, at least in this country, and I see many places elsewhere in the world, is very personality driven. It starts either with the person, a personality, a way of life, and then it moves on, but the personality remains, right? Leela started like that, but has become institutionalized in a way because it's backed by Brookfield. How's this departure in ways of working, in the essence of the brand? What do you see? We all know what Leela's done in India so far, and many of us here are very proud of what you did. But where do you see this going? Luxury, as you see in the next 10 years from Leela's lens, backed by institutional capital.
Thank you for that question. And as you rightly said, the beginnings were individualistic. And I think that also gave us a lot of advantages for where we are today, right? Because you start small, you start focused, and you work on a few projects, right? You have your skin in the game, and then you build it up, right? I think with the institutional owners that we have now, we have an opportunity, and we've showcased that opportunity, showcased that belief in the brand by not just growing, but growing responsibly. Not just making noises for the sake of it, but for genuinely doing things which matter, right? Representing Indian luxury in its true sense, right? Having said that, backing of capital always comes with its own set of responsibilities, and I think all of us in our have a common endeavor to make sure that we give the returns that are required to be done, and I think we are all very responsible for it, while always ensuring that being purveyors of luxury, the responsibility of being purveyors of luxury sit very, very strongly on our shoulders.
So how many hotels currently and how many more to come?
Currently we have 14 hotels, and I think we've got a pipeline of about 9 that we've announced.
So that keeps you limited?
Indeed.
Going back to one
but
of
very
the
focused.
Very focused.
Very focused about where we want to go.
Great. Shobhit, an extension of this question. again, personality driven. Personality driven, it starts with that. And then you get institutional capital, the way Anantara has grown elsewhere, especially in your epicenter in Thailand and then other markets, and then you bought companies and brands over the time. What's your view of luxury coming into India, and what's the plan? Is it again going to be backed by your balance sheet, or is it going to be asset light? What's the strategy for Anantara to come into India?
So we are minor hotels. Like Bill named it. If you heard him yesterday, it's called minor because he started the company when he was 17. So, and Anantara is our flagship luxury brand, and in last 25 years, it's about 60 hotels. It's done really well. But other than that, we have 3-4 more luxury brands. We got Tivoli out of Portugal. We got Minor Reserve Collection we launched last year. And we also have the Woosley, which is a London restaurant brand. We're building a hospitality piece around it. I think the first one's going to open in New York. And we have Jungle Safaris in Ilawana in Africa. But coming to the India piece, it's primarily led by Anantara. We have 1 open, and we have signed 3 more in the last 12 months. We're going asset right, not exactly light or balance sheet backed, but primarily, yes, it's asset light that we're looking at in this space. So the brand has a very, very strong pull in the Indian guest profile and even the owners. We're based primarily out of Thailand, Maldives, and Middle East. Very common with the Indian outbound market. Our recognition, whether it's the guest, high-paying HNI, or the ownership group or investor group is very high. So they have a very high comfort level of the brand delivering to the expectation of being a very, very luxury-oriented. And I wouldn't just leave it there. It's, if you go to an Anantara, it's, what I like to say is we're not hard-coded in brand standards, but we're more hard-coded in terms of the experience we build. And we started more as a destination leisure resort, but we also do city hotels now and fairly large city hotels under the brand. So I think that's playing well. And I think we have a very fairly strong pipeline coming through. But again, we are very, very selective. It has to have high yield positions. We're not just talking ADRs, but yield in terms of creating the wellness piece, the F&B piece, and the rooms, and get a good bottom line for the owners. That's the main thing.
Shobhit, I missed out on the brands. I couldn't hear them well. So what all the brands that you're talking to get into India?
So right now we're leading with Anantara in the luxury. The others are in upper upscale. We have the Avni or Avani, depending on how you want to pronounce it. We have from our European stable NH collection, it's upper upscale. And for the mid-scale, we are coming in with NH. These are the, out of the brand portfolio of 12, these are the 4 primary brands that we're coming forth with. And as if there's an opportunity for other brands, we will do that. But primary focus is on these 4 brands because there's enough headroom on this that we have.
At the IHG spectrum of brands, we have in luxury from 6 Senses to Regent to Kimpton and all the way down to Intercontinental. So the way I see it, India is ready for, of course, we have the 2 Six Senses and doing brilliantly well in this country. It's very aspirational, very luxurious, very limited. One based on wellness, the other based on a fort cultural experience. Kimpton is a true lifestyle brand, and I don't think anyone of us here really have that in their portfolios, so it's a very interesting and a truly lifestyle luxury brand based on experiences. Regent, naturally, we all know, and James, you may know better because it's part of that same geography where you come from, and naturally we've been competing in certain markets. So a very similar plan for us. Again, being very, very careful, as all of you said, because it is limited and has to be carefully produced and then delivered in terms of experience. And India, I think, from a capital perspective, is getting to that point where you have these brands which can come with full force, backed by capital, maybe institutional, private equity, high net worth individuals who are doing it, and we see those investments coming in. So we genuinely feel this is the time for all of us to really make it work and do it right, which is extremely careful, particularly in this space. So we have an interesting spin to this panel. Edgar, you come from the source side, the demand source side. So whatever we build, you help us fill. Get the luxury customer into these luxury properties and create those wonderful experiences. Edgar, what is India for you at the moment when you see it from the outside lens? And I know there are situations from, let's say, inbound, and there are always situations because we are living in a volatile world with geopolitics and whatever is happening around us. So just take us through that, that piece of, do we have enough luxury customers?
Sure. From my side, we are from TUI Group. Under the portfolio, we have over 460 hotels, 19 cruise ship, 130 own aircraft, and also 1,600 retail shops of tour operator. So basically, initially, our hotel division is created to fill in the source market from our own source market, which is the 15 source market European base. And the reason why we go into these luxury segments, we have one hotel brand on luxury side called The Mora. The reason why is because we see the trends in these European travelers, in which they are more younger. We call this group of people Henry. It's an acronym for high earners, not rich yet, something like that. So these people usually pretty young. They are very experience driven. Luxury is the new experience for them. They have high income, but income come and go. So typically they don't invest like we did mostly in Asia. So these people sometimes they took loan also to go on holiday just to live the life. So that's the original why we created this new brand called The Mora. And from the TUI's perspective, yes, all this war, even COVID, and last time is a disruption of the situation, like because we are operating in almost every countries as well. But the good thing is when you try to engage a tour operator, we do by setting up a wholesale thing. So the booking window usually is pretty long. So I believe in India, there's also a very big luxury market, which you can actually, the booking window is shorter and you can adapt to it. But at least from European side, you already signed a contract like 6 months before for summer and winter, for example. So this is possibly how we try to mitigate the risk. But yes, every time there's a COVID or like a war, we are in big trouble and lose a lot of money. Something like when in Abu Dhabi, for example, last time we announced in the news because our cruise is actually in Abu Dhabi, so we managed to bring our customers all back home. So that is the risk of running a tour operation business as well.
Very interesting acronym I heard, Henry. I'm going to take this because this is also used in real estate, I guess, in India. I would say just before COVID, there was this pattern popping up in real estate markets and also in various consumer markets, that these high net worth, not rich yet people would ultimately stop buying luxury cars, would stop buying luxury watches. They would continue their lifestyle with Pret lines and good clothes. They may book an Uber instead of buying their own car, and they may end up staying in serviced residences rather than buying homes. Then comes COVID. A few years later, then there is a whole transformation, and we see luxury homes in vogue. The sizes of the homes started increasing. The per square foot pricing of these homes started increasing. The luxury sales that we see in cars in India is like never before. So call it the BMW or the Mercedes and the Audi, big German players, their sales apart from China was all India. And you see so many such cars and many more. Now this transformation we see in branded luxury homes. That's where I'm taking it to you, James, and I see the smile on your face, because a lot of these Indian promoters would come to you and say, fine, when you find the best hotel site, that's okay, but can you give me your brand to manage my next luxury condominium project? And you would hear this all the time, Shobhit, I'm sure you would be hearing this. It's very hard to say no when you're at Leela with Brookfield and you understand real estate better than anybody else, but you still say no. Because I see that there's a lot of talk on branded luxury homes, but the jury's still out. So the way I think is that yes, the social pattern has changed, so there is a demand, people are buying those houses, but the hotel companies probably are not fully ready to brand them and service them. What is your situation, James? And I know you do this in other markets and you've done it successfully in Indonesia, etc. What's the plan in India?
I would say for us, branded residences have become an integral part to the majority of the projects we look at. If you look at our pipeline globally, 70% of our deals have a residential component. So that's a major shift. And for us, the story started in New York back in 2003, where the development was sold with a branded residential component and an unbranded component next door. And the premiums there were, well, I'd say material, for the same development, the same location, the same developer, and yet they were getting a premium back in, this is 20 years ago, to have a branded residence over an unbranded. That repeats itself today because when you look at the resale values of that project, the branded versus the unbranded, it's, the premiums are over 30% on a per square meter basis. So this has become such an integral part of our business. And actually to us, our branded residence owners are our most important fans. The entry fan is buying a cake at the cake shop. The ultimate fan is the hotel developer. The one slightly below that is your branded residence buyer. And for us, when you look at our projects around the world, I think in most cases, the penthouse of our branded residence is the most expensive penthouse ever sold in that city. So we have this halo effect from this track record. And for India, honestly, I see it being an integral part of our growth strategy going forwards. I imagine hotels will include a branded residential component. And as we now see in many European markets, we have a hotel which is established, is really performing at the top of the market in, say, Barcelona or Madrid. And then another developer comes to us and says, well, we want to develop branded residences. It's 1 kilometer away from your hotel site. Are you interested? And we've now launched projects in New York, Barcelona, Madrid, Abu Dhabi, Bangkok. In all of these markets, we have standalone residences. So they're serviceable by the hotel. They're in close enough proximity to have that halo effect, the operational synergy, the sales synergy. The hotel is your club. So I think it will definitely be part of our strategy here in India.
James, a rapid fire question. In India, you don't have a hotel, but would you do a branded residential without the hotel to begin with?
You never say never, but I think it's extremely unlikely. Because I think for the brand promise of a branded residence, this is the most elevated offering we can deliver. And that needs people, it needs service, it needs expertise. If we were to go in first with a residential project, it's so much harder to deliver that. So I think it's very unlikely.
Anupam, to answer that, you said a few hotels and you have the machinery to run them. Would you look at standalone branded residential without the hotel?
I think this is something that I'm not privy to, unfortunately. But having said that, I do believe that there are certain conversations that we're having. So it's not off the table, but it's not announced yet. So.
Shobhit, for you?
So branded resi is an important part of our model. In fact, we started branded resi before we had our own brand, because we are owners of competition brands before we launched our own brand. So we truly sat on the owner side of the table, and we understand how it helps on owners' return on equity or investment, correct? But it's not only that, it helps you create a whole atmosphere and create what he said, fans for the property, because I've sold branded resi, and especially in leisure destination, which is more like a second home, they don't stay there all the time. They are a very strong word of mouth in their circle to bring people back into the resort. So hotel is a critical piece, because that delivers the hospitality piece not only to the resort but also to the residences. And along it you can, and depending on the size, because we have our own investment in Phuket on this, where we have a resort, we got branded resi, and we do have a very strong wellness piece which sits separately. And it works beautifully across, and they feed off each other. So.
Thank you for bringing the wellness word in it, because that's the second part of the session, and I'll get into that. Thanks, Shobhit, for that. Edgar, when you sell India, within the luxury space, what are the buzzwords that people ask you, the luxury travelers, or what do you sell them? Is it the palaces, the architecture, the culture, the food, the versatility, wellness? Does it fit in that charter for a luxury customer when he or she plans a trip to India?
Yes, definitely is all of the above that you said, because I think when people decide whether to go to India, whether to go to Thailand, whether to go to Bali, they already know what they wanted to experience. So it's not a hard thing for us to actually promote areas like hidden gem, but we need to do some curated experience for the customers. All the things you said is, yes, grand architecture, very, very nice architecture, or there is something nice to do. So that's why in terms of our customers' perspective is we were never really bound into a certain asset. For example, like we can do glamping, for example, to do a very nice luxury product. We can do, like our latest project in Tunisia is the Mora Tozur, Sahara. So it's all villas overlooking Sahara. But we can also do, like the one in upcoming product in Singapore is a heritage house. So all this we'll try to find what is interesting from a destination. I think for us, most importantly are two things. First is branding. So once it will be easier if we have a product in our area that is already familiar with the European markets. Like in this case, for India, number one is Goa. We have 4 charter flight four charter flight every week, so around 17 flights per month to Goa. Then to brand to brand it, and then number 2 is the infrastructure. Once the infrastructure is there, the road access, everything, then I think the product can be launched successfully. Yeah.
Anupam, I know wellness is a very significant piece of the Leela hospitality, and I know when we were exchanging notes a
Yes.
couple of days ago, you were telling me you bought something in Coorg, and you are basing that on wellness, and then there are other experiences that you're building. Tell us a little bit more about wellness within the Leela story.
Sure, thank you. So we launched HICSA by the Leela a few years ago, actually during COVID. And while in its current iteration, it's a holistic well-being program. When we first launched it, we looked at the nutrition side of things, because that really is the most difficult one to get, to be able to implement it, at scale, right, and authenticity. Having said that, HICSA by the Leela, as it is today, is deeply rooted in ancient Indian wisdom, supported by modern science. And at its root, it stands on 3 pillars of what we call Shanti, Shakti, and Saumya. So, inner peace, inner vitality, and inner beauty, right? And there are various vehicles of delivery, whether it's nutrition, whether it's mindfulness, movement, and of course, therapy. And all of this is being delivered seamlessly by nutritionists, doctors in certain areas, culinary artists, and of course, therapists. What we're doing is looking at outcome-based programs, right? And we are implementing this in Coorg, which is, as you rightly said, is our newest acquisition. So outcomes such as elevated energy levels, optimized movement, the mental well-being aspects of things, and of course, elevated appearance. And all of this is being delivered and being rolled out, not just in Coorg, but in all other hotels. I would like to touch upon something very, I would say, path-breaking that we've launched recently on World Health Day, which was on the 7th. We've launched something called the HICSA Sampurna. Now, the basic premise of that is that as travelers, as frequent travelers, when we travel to hotels, we often have to let go of our, a certain regimen or a diet that we are on, right? And so what we did was we identified this need, and we piloted this in a few hotels where menus, outcome-based menus, such as anti-inflammatory, detox, or high-protein menus are available, and the guest can actually choose and customize even before he or she has come in. And we are being able to deliver this, right, with consistency, authenticity, and scale.
But are they delicious?
Outstanding. Delicious doesn't even cover it.
Not boring.
It's not boring. It's delicious, it's beautiful, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Wellness
That's
for
just
us.
an example of an iteration of HICSA, right?
Wonderful. As long as it is delicious.
It is delicious. I can get you to try it.
Okay. All right. I have to go to Coorg?
No, it's launched in 6 hotels currently. So Delhi, NCR, Bangalore, and Chennai. And these are city hotels. And that is what is so path-breaking about this, because you normally have this in resorts, right? But we've introduced this in city hotels. And very soon it'll be there all across in all the hotels.
And will you also give me a glass of Coke along with it?
I beg your pardon?
Will you give me a glass of Coke along with it?
I mean, should you choose to have one, nobody's going to stop you from doing it.
You don't say no. Okay.
We don't say no.
All right. Wellness for us in India has also worked very well, especially when we took over Vana, which is a prominent wellness resort up in the foothills of the Himalayas in Dehradun. And when Six Senses took over, it's been a couple of years now, been really profitable, moved the needle on the rates, and whole program sort of elevated, and the experience is elevated. Now, how many more can we do is a question. Because is there a market to it? That's why, Edgar, I asked you, is there enough market to it? But what Anupam tells me is that if you're really taking it to your cities and to your homes, that means it's a kind of a lifestyle change which is oriented towards wellness embedded in luxury.
100%. In fact, one of the things we are thinking about, Jaideep, is to be able to deliver this to your meeting. Wherever you're meeting, outside the hotel, we'll deliver it to you. We're working on this now, and hopefully very soon.
James?
I guess I was watching Bill's session yesterday, and his closing remark, I mean, obviously inspirational character, his closing remark is around his personal, I can't remember the question, it was around his personal focus, and he said wellness, well-being. And when you have it all, well-being is the center of your life often, you know. And for us, I always think, when you are staying in a property, the ambition now is not about giving a wellness experience. It's not about having a nice spa. It's about giving your guests the opportunity to leave feeling better, stronger than when they arrived. So, you know, you have, it's everything. It's the sleep, it's the oxygen, it's the nutrition, it may be the spa, it's the activities, it's the engagement with your friends, your family. Wellness is the experience. So, I mean, we've actually just changed our spa department to be a well-being department. And although a minor, you know, internal rebrand, the point is, it transcends the spa. It's everything to do with your stay. So, wellness is the future, and it influences all of our lives.
And I think to add to that, the word longevity, which a lot of people keep, you know, pouting every now and then, it's more to do with the quality of life, more than the number of years, right? Yeah. And that's what we should acknowledge and work towards.
Like Edgar, I asked you, what does it take the luxury customer to come to India? Shobhit, I would ask you, and maybe Manav towards the end, maybe somewhere I'll find him, to ask him, what did it take to get Bill Heineke to India and to HICSA? It's very charismatic.
So I think it was not so difficult to get Bill. He came here to sign 2 deals, signing ceremony.
Deals.
So
Deals.
if you heard Bill often, he has 3 P's, correct? It's passion, people, and profit. So, and he's a great believer. We may talk of whatever, if there's no profit at the end of the tunnel, it's not worth doing it. Because that's the reason we do anything. And coming back to what James said on wellness, fully agree with him, but it is expensive to deliver wellness. And like in Minor, we've done it now in one of our resorts where we built this. And we started by tying up with other people, but somehow it was not falling in peace. So we launched our own brand called Life, and we built this 20,000 square feet wellness, which is other than the spa. It's built on longevity, preventive, beauty, activity, and traditional medicine. In Thailand, it's Thai, if you do it in India. And from pure business perspective, one should understand that you have to be ready to sort of see losses or just about breaking even on this kind of an operation in the beginning. But it works wonderfully if you look at the larger system, because in the resort, we have the resort, we have the wellness, and we have the branded villas. And it just elevates the whole positioning across. And a couple of years, and now the wellness is making money. But what it did for our villas and what it did for the resort, I mean, it's very difficult to factor it in. But because we own the whole thing, we understand it very well. So at times, that gap when we're trying to explain to an investor or an owner why wellness will work or not work, that learning is very critical, whether in this site or the location or the city, will it work? Is it of benefit? Because it's not just a buzzword. It has to work to pull in the guest, get in the revenue, and deliver a bottom line on it. So that's critical for luxury even. Sorry.
No, I've been. I tell anyone else to go. It's an amazing facility in Phuket.
Yeah.
But on the numbers side, we did a study a couple of years ago, and we realized that a guest who used the spa spent 4 times more than a guest who didn't, which is an incredible statistic. Because, people always say, spas don't make money. But that guest is the guest who is getting the limo from the airport. They're booking a suite. They're staying longer. They're dining in the hotel.
I fully agree with you.
So it's, our previous wellness director was always fighting on, he's like, stop looking at the P&L of, of the spa, of those 8 treatment rooms. Start looking at the value of that guest. And it's incredible. I mean, 4 times, it was the average spend, 4 times higher.
It's very simple. A spa treatment typically is 60 to 90 minutes. People land up half an hour before that, and probably they'll stick in the resort before they come in. So if most time they spend in the resort, they can spend more money with you. It's very simple economics. So you're creating stickiness within the whole process. And if you add wellness to it, then it's days. It's just not a few hours. So.
Glad that you said about numbers. I guess it is not only our fiduciary responsibility, but also our moral responsibility when we put so much of capital at work while we build luxury, that we all need to be prudent on development costs without compromising the brand promise, but also being very prudent on delivery of the drawings and the technical advice that we ought to give. Because one thing all of the investors suffer, and I keep hearing that, and I've built hotels in the past and doing this now with the IHG promise, that we need to build it timely, we need to build it right, so that then they perform. And then when we, as James said, we drill down the P&L, we realize that this isn't working, but the impact of so-and-so activity on the other side of the P&L is brilliant. So therefore, we all need to be morally responsible and technically responsible to be able to deliver that promise, so that the yields that the investors have on luxury, we basically yield them better. I have another piece, but I see only 8 minutes left, and I wanted to take a few questions. But then very quickly, maybe if we can take 4 minutes on another piece, which has just occurred to me now, so please pardon, it's not part of the script. Weddings, India, demand side, Edgar, supply side, you've been servicing that. And that questions one of my 5 opening statements, that luxury is limited. But the luxury weddings are not limited. So the number of rooms are increasing, the ballroom sizes are increasing despite being in luxury. Do you see this trend in India? Maybe I start with you, Anupam. You've been building hotels here.
Yes.
Are you doing bigger ballrooms, trying to address the band baja barat, which is all that comes along, James, and Edgar, for your understanding, the whole paraphernalia of the wedding?
I wouldn't lie that this is indeed a very, very important segment for us. Right? I think what's important is to note is that you have to do it right? And as long as nobody else is getting disturbed in the process, right? Which it can happen, right? I mean, if you're doing a partial buyout in a resort, it is a bit unfair for somebody who's not a part of that wedding ecosystem to be going through that. So
to be able to do that, and I'm just keep it quick.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, if I ask you in which zip code you will be, for a wedding hotel, luxury wedding hotel called a Leela wedding hotel, will you do 200 rooms, 300 rooms, 500 rooms, and appropriate or adequate size of banqueting? What will be your zip code of size?
I don't think we would build a hotel only for a wedding. It is a market segment which is important, and we realize it, and we choose to take on what we want to take on. What we take on will need to be befitting the brand and that particular location.
The revenue per room per night will be about $1 million, less, more?
More, I would say.
Okay. What about you, James? If let's say you were to do a wedding-oriented hotel, in India, maybe a palace hotel or something in Rajasthan, what do you think the revenue per night would be?
I don't know.
You don't do it?
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I would say though, again, for us, it's about differentiation. I keep hearing of new projects signed in Kukas, for example, all of which are 200 to 250 keys targeting the wedding market. And I think that, for us, that's not the way to go. You want to create something different, something exciting, and maybe there is a strong wedding component, but we don't want to get in that price war ultimately.
Fair enough. Shobhit?
So we have one operating hotel in Jaipur. It's prospered on the wedding segment. It opened bang in the middle of when the wedding started. So, and it's fairly small, it's about 150 keys. So a wedding size, each wedding is anything between 3 to 6 crores, depending on what you're doing and number of nights. So yeah, you can't ignore it, especially in Rajasthan.
So James, just for your benefit, Leela says about $1 million revenue per night. He's a little shy of million at the highest peak, so think about it. All right. We are doing very well so far on the time. I'd kept about 5 minutes for Q&A. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions. Yes, we have a few. Okay. I'm just picking the first one, okay? So please bear with me for 10 seconds. Okay, let's take the first one first. Beyond materials and aesthetics, what does luxury emotionally mean in your properties? Any one of you can pick this up. Edgar, fantastic, okay.
Sure, I mean, luxury is a bit different. So just to add on that about the wedding part earlier, right? So typically we try to avoid that for our luxury hotels, unless the guests really book the whole hotel, basically something like that. This is something that we try to keep other guests, as Anupam said, is not be disturbed, something like that. So luxury emotionally means, I think it's come back to the brand promises. In our case, the Mora actually mean pause, which is take a break, relax. Then we get the pre-arrival survey to them to actually what do you want, so you can customize your experiences. And we try to build the emotions through the 5 senses, definitely, which I believe all the brands have. But we also deliver, I think, as long as we make them happy. I think that's the promise of the brand.
I think, Anupam, maybe you picked the second one, which is how far are you willing to go to support the shift from wellness to longevity, something you picked up, right, in luxury hospitality?
So, I mean, if you really see what does Ayurveda deliver, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a quality of life. And if you have better quality of life, you have longevity in that sense. I mean, it's not just about the number of years that you spend on earth, but it's the quality of that life, right? So, having said that, with ancient Indian wisdom, and if you marry that with modern science, and we are willing to do that. We are in fact planning to do that in our, Leela celebrates 40 years of its existence, and we've got great plans. And the Ojasya as a brand that we are building now is really a reflection of the beauty of that brand. What we are planning to do is bring in certain areas integrated wellness, right? And I'll leave it at that for the moment, because all things will be revealed in due time. But yes, we will move towards, in certain areas, we will take help from modern medical science as well.
You've taken that script out of that movie of the 70s, Anand, when Rajesh Khanna famously said, "Zindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi." right? So you're basically asking everybody to start spending.
Indeed. On experiences,
Right.
on living life to the fullest, and living in the moment.
Yeah.
Because that's what really brings in the quality
So
of
don't
life.
wait until you grow up.
Absolutely not.
The life is a process of growing up. I remember our boss used to say that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very much on time, and on that note, thank you very much for being such a patient and quiet audience. The room seems fuller than we started. So thank you for joining the party late. I hope you take a few things away from this session and live life in a more luxurious way. Start spending. Yeah. Thank you.